Allison for Leading Edge Dog Show Academy, and I'm here today to talk to you about scissoring techniques. So we're going to start off with the basics, and the basics are how to hold your shear. Now, I got this wrong when I first started holding my shears, and I probably scissored my dog for 2 years holding my shears the wrong way. So here we have a typical pair of shears, finger holes and finger rests. This is a straight shear. We're going into the scissor types more later, so this is a straight shear. Your scissor may or may not have double finger rest, doesn't really matter. So you do not hold your shear with your pointer finger and your thumb. So this is not the correct way to hold your shear at all. And the reason is that you have to open and close the shear with your own whole hand, which creates obviously some hand fatigue, right? And especially your hands are going to be tired in the beginning because you're not used to scissoring. It's a lot of work. It's not a motion that your hand typically does. And the same would be for holding it with, your middle finger and your thumb. And same thing, you're opening and closing your whole hand, and that's going to create hand fatigue. So the correct way is to hold it with your ring finger and your thumb and kind of cradle the shear in your hand. And you can see my pinky finger doesn't quite reach the finger rest, but I don't need it. I'm not relying on that finger rest. Some shears my finger does hit that rest. These ones, they just don't. Also, my thumb is not going all the way through this ring. It's kind of sitting on the edge. And more importantly, you can see when I open and close the shear that basically only my thumb is moving, which, I might get thumb fatigue, but I'm not going to get whole hand fatigue. This does enable you to scissor for much longer. So it doesn't matter whether I'm holding the shear this way or this way, right? You can see how much steadier it keeps my shear. Now, the other thing it does when I hold the shear the incorrect way, so the wrong way with my pointer finger and my thumb, look at the tip of the shear, right? The tip of the shear just goes everywhere. So if my shear is doing that, there is no possible way that I can scissor in a straight line. My hand can be moving in a straight line, but my tool definitely is not moving in a straight line. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. And, even if I'm just doing it. Yesterday when I practiced this, I actually almost dropped the shear. So when I do this, so now I'm trying to be really careful and really keep, see how slow, but see how much wave I get in the tip of that shear. It's crazy. I didn't even actually realize that until yesterday when I practiced. So now I'm holding it the correct way with my ring finger in the shear and just moving my thumb, and see how much steadier I keep the tip of that shear even when I go quicker. That is incredible to me. I actually even forgot. And even if you can't see it because I'm flipping even upside down, it's the same way, except now the scissors are pointing towards me. So kind of not very useful to show you that. So I would hold all of my shears the same way. Even if I was using a thinning shear just to take out cowlicks on a smooth coated dog, it's going to keep your hand that much steadier. So people say, well, how can I practice scissoring? Well, you can practice scissoring by simply holding the shear the correct way. And I like to hold it straight ahead of me, like it's pointing towards the camera now, and just see how much that tip wavers and try to keep it nice and straight. And you can go faster, you can go slower. I typically tell people to scissor in a straight line, so from point A to point B, and then once you've done your straight lines, you're going to curve in the edges, right? We're going to get more to that. And the other thing you can do is you can take your shear and you can flip it around in your hand just to get used to the weight of the shear and where your fingers go, etc. So you can flip it around in your hand either way. This is useful for when we get onto curved shears. So some more about shears is that shears come in beveled and convex edges. The basic difference is that the convex edge tends to be much, much finer and is really good generally for finishing work. The convex shear is typically more expensive and more expensive to be sharpened because of how fine the edge is, and it typically needs to be taken apart and done by hand, where a beveled edge is more of a workhorse shear where it can be done on a machine. So often those shears can be a little less expensive and a little less expensive to sharpen. Now, of course, we're comparing the same steel to the same steel, the same shear to the same shear. You know, obviously you could have very expensive beveled shears and less expensive convex shears, but like as a general rule, that would be the difference. Now that isn't to say that a beveled shear can't give a finish and that a finishing shear can't be your workhorse shear. So when it comes to other things about shear, obviously the typical straight shear can do any job in any hand. It can thin, it can finish, it can be your workhorse, it can do all these things. It just depends on, you know, if you just use the tips. Also, you know, people say, should I get a curved shear? Yes, I love curved shears, but we haven't had them for that long. When I first started scissoring dogs, there were no curved shears. Like, they were a new invention. And now you can get them with a little bit of curve, a very curve, a short curve, a longer curve. I personally love curved shears. And of course, you're going to hold them the same way. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please give us a like, and if you haven't already done so, you can subscribe to our channel below. Also, check out leadingedgedogshow academy.com for our premium content. We had a lot of